I'm digital anchor Andre Ash with the Michigan Chronicle. There is a lot happening in our city, and a lot of it is positive, and that is what we aim to do out of this next interview. It is an awesome story that is happening in Detroit, and it is being led by two young brothers who are doing great things in our city and in our neighborhoods. Von Arrington is the CEO of Team Strength Detroit.
Good to see you, brother.
Great to have you here in Studio 1452. Yes. And we're joined by your partner in crime, who's doing great things, Donis Brooks, 17 years old. You're the president. You're the president of Quarter Cuts. Talk to me about the role that you play, you and other young people that are making a difference in our city's neighborhoods.
I play the role of making sure every job is done to where I feel as though will leave the customer over satisfied.
Yeah.
So I play the role where I pay attention to every worker, everybody's work ethic, and I just pay attention to make sure the job was done right. Make sure every customer, not just some, but every customer is satisfied.
I love it. And it is certainly teaching young people the soft skills necessary to be able to perform a service, but also the life skills that one would need to be able to see a project, see a work process through. Von Arrington, you started this company, this business, and bringing in young people to make a difference in not only the service that they're performing, but make a difference in their lives. What inspired you to start this company?
Yeah, well, Sarah Main and I were Marygrove College students. The legendary Marygrove, man. Long live Marygrove.
Right.
We were in social work class, and we wanted to at some point create a youth-led company.
Yeah.
And Adonis just happened upon us. And when it comes to a conversation about creating Quarter Cuts, I can in no way at all say that that's something that I created. Adonis and I built that. And I do mean a straight 50% partnership. Adonis worked arduously to build this thing. I mean, at 10 years old, Dre, Adonis came to my office at 10 years old and built a business plan with me. We sat in my office at the Matrix Center between 3 and 4 hours writing a business plan. And this young man, all the way from 10 years old up to now, has had a work ethic that is unmatched by any of the young folks that I've worked with. So he built this thing right alongside with me and has continued to stay the course. Yes, sir.
And Adonis, why have you taken this course? I mean, at 10 years old, I mean, you pretty much almost surpassed a lot of 10-year-olds that I know who were thinking about business plans at the time. But why have you taken this course? What has inspired you to do what you do?
It's my pops. And I was always a go-getter, a hustler.
Yeah.
I always found the way to make money. But like selling and yards is what I like. Landscaping, I love doing landscaping. I can see myself doing this for the rest of my life.
And you say your dad. Why?
Cause my pops got hustle in him.
Yeah.
So basically I get it from him. So when I first met Von, I don't know if you guys know or not, but I met Von while I was selling candy.
At the ATM, Dre.
Wow.
He was selling
So
candy
you already
at the
had the
ATM.
entrepreneurial spirit
He did.
in you.
And strategy.
Business, and you kept at it.
Yeah.
And now you're in Studio 1452 talking to me. Everywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, Von, how does that inspire you? Because certainly your journey is quite the story as well. And seeing too that you're making a positive difference in the young people, young Black men that look up to you.
Man, I'm just being 100% with you, man. It gives me value, bro. It does. Like, it makes me feel as if I mean something to God. Because I definitely mean something to the community. I mean something to Adonis, his family, and the other young men that I work with. But it inspires me to know that I am capable of great impact. And so I keep it going because I know I'm impacting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it feels good. It's definitely the thing to come from where I come from. And that story just is giving a little short synopsis, man. I grew up right in Detroit, and I grew up in a crack house. You know, both of my parents were selling crack. I grew up in that era in the 80s, and I was born in 81. And I would watch my mom and dad going to the mail chute, putting them rocks out the door, getting them $10 bills through the door. And of course, I grew up, I developed in that, man, and got into gangs early on. And I ended up serving 10 years in prison for a carjacking and armed robbery. And during that time that I was incarcerated, I was watching TV, and I saw The Cosby Show, and I saw Family. And that was a little bit odd to me because they were eating at the dinner table and stuff. And then I started reading books, man. I started to learn that I might actually be a little messed up. I might want to do some introspection here, man. And so I did. Started going to church. I started digging into myself. And out of that came a new vine. I wanted to make community impact. And so I started writing youth programs while I was incarcerated. And my cousin, Alan Tumpkin, took me to Marygrove College. And that's where I began to build what we are working within now.
Yeah.
So
it's all come full circle.
It has, bro. It's come full circle to where I was reached out to and given the support I needed to make a change and grow. And in Adonis's case, not so much of trying to change him, but just nurture and develop, cultivate what he already had.
Yeah.
But a lot of the kids that we work with, and I do now say we, because it started off with me just working with Adonis and trying to grow what I saw in him. But we have developed a partnership where now it's like, Adonis, holler at him, man, work with him.
Yeah.
Or little man, go holler at Adonis. Because we partner now in making impact. You know, so 7 years of me working with him, he's at a point now where we work together. You know, he takes my car, takes my truck, drives off and goes and do jobs. He's not brought my car back with a scratch.
We don't want that.
Man.
But it's, you know, and we'll talk about partnerships in just a moment because Quarter Cuts has partnered with new corporate sponsorship, if you will. But we'll get to that part of the story in just a moment because the company is definitely progressing. But I love this chain of, you know, a older generation reaching out to a younger generation. How often do you see the young kids, the young men that you work with look up to you, and how much you take as far as what you've learned from Vaughn?
I mean, when I see the younger people, I see them look up to me because when I see they doing wrong, but not meaning to, when I see they have work ethic and have it in them, like Vaughn sees in me, I see it in the younger people now. Like I got a little homie, Dwayne, we call him Tunuk.
Tunuk.
He was doing a job and basically he was doing it wrong. So I told him I got it because we were running out of time and it was getting a little dark. And he literally told me, he said, no, I got it. Just show me what I got to do.
Yeah.
So I like hearing that coming out of his mouth because I knew he wanted to do the work. He just didn't know how to do it. So all we had to do is teach him the skills of how to do it.
Yeah, the guidance, the advice, and then you see grow the independence of our youth, our young people. Talk to me about, because there's definitely a story history with Quarter Cuts. Unfortunately, over the years, there've been break-ins, there've been theft to the equipment that you all have needed to be able to go out and do the lawn service, the great work that you do. But recently, there's been a breakthrough of great partnerships. Talk to me about that story, because certainly it must have been a bit heartbreaking and kind of tough to go through a loss of theft, and it kind of slows you down, but it didn't stop.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking because you got to understand that, you know, we're talking about a landscaping company run by kids, but we're not talking about a little baby landscaping company.
Yeah.
We're talking about a bunch of kids from the red zone. For anybody who's watching that might know, 48205 is an area where doing a little study on. You know, it's not a neighborhood to play with. And so this neighborhood, for these kids that have the work ethic and the aspiration to be entrepreneurs, it makes a large statement. And so these kids driving to what they're driving toward, and working with Sarah and I to become entrepreneurs and going through these courses day after day. And, you know, us collecting all this equipment, being visited by the city council, being on several different television programs, being given so many awards, Spirit of Detroit Awards, the mayor coming out and working with them, driving them around and talking to them. All of this stuff really made them feel powerful because they were. and then someone came and snatched all that away.
Yeah.
So yes, Dre, that is a story. That is something to acknowledge that this thing happened, but
It was
you
a
know,
pause.
from-
It didn't stop
not at
the
all.
work.
It was just a short little pause,
Yeah.
and we have gotten donations from wine guards. We have gotten donations through our GoFundMe, and by the way, GoFundMe.com quarter cuts. Do go and find that. But we are building some things with them, and it's
Yeah.
going really good. All of this stuff is coming back. It's nice.
Right. Let's talk about the corporate, the funding, and because now you're pretty much set. You've got more equipment, new equipment, and now you're able to do your thing. I mean, what have these past few weeks or months been like with the new equipment? And I'm sure it has energized the work that you guys do and the young kids who are part of this. Let's talk about that, because you all have now your first corporate client. How big is that?
Super big.
Yeah.
It makes me so excited and believe I'm getting somewhere. Because at first it was residential, but after I see an actual company,
Yeah.
I always thought to myself, like, I can't wait till I'm able to do one of these.
Yeah.
So now that I see that my company is where I can do one of those, I feel like I got somewhere and took
Yeah.
a bigger step. And like I just got to keep going forward, getting more corporate contracts, just keep progressing.
Okay, I think I even have to digest the moment right now, because I mean, you are 17 years old running a company, a business, you're entrepreneurial, and the corporate client that you all were able to tap recently, Detroit Axle. That is dope. I mean, I just want to make sure that that people are taking this in right now. 17 years old, young black man in Detroit with a corporate client in Detroit Axle. That's dope.
It is. It is, man. It's
I mean, have you really taken that in? I mean,
You know
this
what?
It was hard for me to take in at
Yeah.
first too. Because
yeah,
when I seen the property, I'm like,
yeah.
and then I heard who Mike Machinish was, and I'm
Mhm.
like, it's the real deal.
The real deal.
Yeah, and the fact that Mike Machinish, and let me just say this about Mike, man. He's just a real guy,
Mhm.
just a real guy. I mean, he. I took a picture of him putting his arm on the Adonis. He came and visited us at our center on 7 Mile and Shaner, and put his arm on Adonis's shoulder and just gave him some game and told him, you know, who Adonis is. He told him, man, you are a hustler. I see you.
Yeah.
You know, and so for somebody who runs $1 billion organization to put their arm on your shoulder and tell you, I see you, you're a hustler. I mean, that's powerful, man. You know, so yeah, it's something for us to take in too. But I knew that. I know who Adonis is. I knew who he was when he was 10 years old. Everybody else is just finding out. But this kid right here is a millionaire. He runs $1 million organization. It just needed
Wow.
to come out of his
Wow.
head, and it's starting to do that now.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, we don't get it lost that it also took you pouring some seed and knowledge into him as well. I mean, in the full circle of your journey and your story as well. I mean, because I mean, essentially, would there be a quarter cuts if it wasn't your story and being able to turn your life around to how we're at this moment right here, right now?
Yeah, I think we all have that. I mean, there wouldn't be a Vaughn without an Alan Tumpkin.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a Vaughn without a Sarah May. You know, and so we all have those stories. So yeah, I definitely contributed to this happening. And that makes me feel, again, that's what gives me my self-value. I feel good about the work that I can do to cause change and impact in my city. It definitely makes me feel like a blossoming flower. For sure it does. Yes, sir.
I want to take it outside quarter cuts for a moment, because certainly we have this positive story that's happening in Detroit, but then we also see these negative stories about, you know, what young black men like Adonis, your age group, who get caught up in the negativity of what life brings their way, right? Their environment. And certainly when we hear those stories, it's disappointing, but this here is a good positive reflection of how young people can look up to you, Adonis. What's your message to other young black kids and boys like you what's your message to them as far as steering the path of positive direction for their life?
Well, I really got to say, stop falling for peer pressure and be your own leader, because everybody in Detroit, it's like they live to try to prove something to somebody. I don't. I live literally to prove to myself and my parents that I can do this. I got it.
And what do your family think about the work that you're doing?
They proud of me.
You know, something that's really admirable about Adonis. You know, of course, I always compliment you when I see you, Drake, because you fresh to death, bro. You know how to dress. You know, and I respect that. I love fashion, man. Yes, sir. You a fly guy, bro. Something about Adonis. Adonis is a fly guy, all up in here. You know, and he could.
And we need more of that. We need more of that.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got both of them. And now Adonis can get saucy though. Don't sleep on him. Now he can step out on you. But the thing is, I just want to tell you something in particular. Everybody was fresh. You know, one of my mentees, one of Adonis's friends, childhood friends, was graduating, and it was a beautiful day for us, man. We all went, Sarah and I and the whole team, Devontae, we all went out and you know, congratulated Jalen and we were happy about him graduating. And everybody was so fresh, so clean, so nice. And Adonis had on the raggediest, dustiest toe-up boots. And he was just, man, he just was bummy. And, you know, he said, you remember what you said?
I remember exactly what I said.
Tell him what you said, bro.
I'm about to start looking at the value of my clothes as if how much I made in this. So them boots, they made me a lot more money than what I paid for them.
Wow.
So I probably spent $200 on the boots, but I made over $1,000, $2,000 in those boots.
Wow.
Ain't that something to hear a young brother say, man?
To flip the script.
Andre, he is counting the value of how much he can produce in these shoes rather than how much do you see that I have on. And again, that's something that that a lot of young kids do. And I'm glad that he is saying, don't be a follower, be a leader, because this type of thinking of how much value do I have by what I have, and how much can I produce by what I have. That's remarkable, man. Adonis is remarkable.
I can see, I can tell. We need more stories and more young men like you, the both of you. And we can only be proud of the work that you're doing. Keep going forward. What's next? What's the next steps? I know you're gonna everything, right?
Well, we got some specifics. Right now, we need to get a couple of trucks, at least one to start, just because the client list is growing, but we have to be able to keep up with the pace. So we're keeping our client list low until we can make sure to service everyone. So right now we're looking for a vehicle to be able to keep the kids going around. And Adonis has proven, I got a 2020 Ram, man, and he drives that thing very well. He doesn't break the speed limit. He follows all of the rules and guidelines, man. We went to his driver's training together. He does his thing. And so right now, that's what's next, is to get a vehicle so that they can transport all the equipment around and all the young fellas to keep all the work going.
Right. There's definitely a lot of work that goes into lawn care service business, and certainly there's the mentality and the entrepreneurial spirit about it. And 17 years old, Adonis, you're leading the way. I love it. I love it. Von Arrington, last message on how people can get involved, contact you.
313-757-1162.
Yep.
313-757-1162. I'm on Instagram as Lionman313, but Quarter Cuts, and that's 2 Q's, no C's. Quarter Cuts is on Facebook and Instagram. Hit us up.
All right. Adonis, did he just speak for you?
Make sure y'all follow that Quarter Cuts Instagram. Quarter, regular, cuts with a Q.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
And Facebook.
Quarter Cuts. I love it. Support these brothers. Support these young people. Awesome, positive story happening right here in the D. Adonis Brooks and Von Arrington. I appreciate the both of you coming in. I love it. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, bro.
All right. Studio 1452. That's where we are. Check out the story online at MichiganChronicle.com. I'm digital anchor Andrea.